You know the kind of shows you like to binge in the background so you can do the rest of your chores? Like scrolling on your phone, like taking the best nap ever, like doing your steps, like listening to a podcast while doing those steps. Don't listen to anyone, you're good at multitasking, like catching up with your friends or the food delivery person depending on how lonely you are, and having an existential conversation with your maid or mom, after which you have an internal nervous breakdown, then forget to breathe for a bit and have a panic attack. But it's all good. It's all good. Because the show still continues in the background, even though you might not, due to the not breathing thing, which is not getting better at all. So before your last breath, watch The Bear. Because it's exactly the opposite of that background show that you were not watching. The Bear demands your complete attention, which gives you no time to think about anything else in your life for those 8 episodes and 4.5 hours. It's pure escapism. Therefore, no panic attack, unlike what happens to most of the characters on this show.
I have every intention of turning this into a respectable place of business. Eventually.
Now, we've seen way too many movies and shows featuring a fancy chef in a fancy kitchen, some that nobody even asked for, but we bet through them all. Get it? Beared? No? Okay. So why should you be watching The Bear? Well, for starters, there's a reason why you can't look away from the screen straight from the moment you switch on the pilot episode. The quick and sharp editing which makes the pace so gripping that the whole show feels like a shot of adrenaline. You're worried you might miss something important the moment you look away. You feel the rush when you're inside the kitchen with the crew. You feel the panic, the pressure, even the hot temperatures. Its pacing and ability to convince you to binge it can give Money Heist a run for its money. It sounds like an exaggeration, but if you don't believe it, then look it up for yourself. The Bear features in the best shows of 2022 on Rotten Tomatoes, right at the top. You'd think this is impossible. If a show that good was streaming in India, then more people would have watched it and must be raving about it everywhere on social media and in person. Apparently not. Everyone's probably busy with something else, including the marketing team at Disney Plus Hotstar. Not saying that no one watched it in India, a big chunk must have watched it, but a bigger chunk ignored it, or didn't even know about it, which is why it's found its place here, in the lost and found box. But The Bear stands out in the crowded food genre because the sharp editing and the frantic pace and the tone are all accompanied with a great ensemble and performances, a great background score, a great story with a lot of heart, along with great writers and a great showrunner to conduct them all. Together, they create a near perfect orchestra. It's like it borrows its rawness from Anthony Bourdain's book Kitchen Confidential, which was adapted into a series, and then it borrows the heart from Jon Favreau's Chef and other good food-related movies. But the parallel to this show, set in the non-food industry world, is probably Damien Chazelle's Whiplash. Besides the fast jazz background score, Whiplash and The Bear have another thing in common: time. Which, as we all know how important it was in Whiplash and how important it is for a professional chef. Whiplash successfully gets you to root for and get inside the head of Miles Teller's character Andrew. Similarly in The Bear, it's Jeremy Allen White's Carmy who leads a pack of perfectly cast supporting actors. There have been several instances in the past where we know that the actor's real personality and the character that they're playing in the film or show blends together so perfectly that it feels like they were born to play that part. You can't imagine any other person placing them. This is one of those instances. It's Carmi's chaotic, unpredictable internal journey that we are investing in thanks to Jeremy Allen White immersing himself completely into the part that turned him into an overnight star. The Bear is a fish out of water story, or at least it starts that way, only to realize that the show is exploring themes of addiction, grief, anxiety, depression, monetary problems, and all of it is rooted and tied together with the food and family. The word family is really overused. The Vin Diesel joke is a reflex now whenever anybody in the world says the F word. But they're not saying it in The Bear. They actually mean it. Christopher Storer, the showrunner of The Bear, recollected eating a favorite traditional dish every year with his family, including his sister, who as it turns out is a chef in real life, and who helped make The Bear as authentic as possible with the help of other chefs too. It shows how personal it is for the first time showrunner who directed episodes of Ramy and some popular Netflix stand-up specials before. Besides, he's grown up in Chicago, which adds to why the world building of the show is so fresh and unique. We've never seen Chicago like this on screen before. And then they go the extra mile by training the actor, especially in its lead, in a few restaurants. It's the same level of dedication Miles Teller had by learning those jumps in Whiplash. Then they shot on location in not just Chicago but at a real restaurant whose name it took in the show. And they shot an entire episode in one single long take amidst other amazingly executed long takes. But above everything, the show has a purpose. It wants to say something original and true, and it says it without being preachy or wasting a single second. In a way, it's a homage to the chefs, the artists running small restaurants while ignoring their personal lives, And it's a homage to chefs like Anthony Bourdain who have their own internal struggle that very few know about. It's safe to say The Bear is a rare show that doesn't come often. So to sum it up, watch The Bear because it doesn't waste time, it demands your attention. It's wholesome entertainment, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll have a good time. The show features a lot of good food, maybe it'll challenge you to be a better cook. Anthony Bourdain would approve. Great ensemble, not one character feels out of place or one-dimensional or underutilized. Jeremy Allen White and his dedication. The detailing and authenticity. And a complete masterpiece. It's a Hulu and FX original, so you can watch it on Disney Plus Hotstar in India. Season 2 is already green lit because once you get into the bear's mouth, there's no turning back.